Milan is Italy's second most populous city. Located in the north of the country, it is home to about 1.4 million people, while its metropolitan area in total is home to around 3.26 million people, and it even stretches apparently as far as Switzerland. Milan is a city full of culture, cathedrals, restaurants, shops, fashion and food. This city is also shared by two of the biggest football clubs in the world, Inter Milan and AC Milan, and those two share a stadium. This is a really famous statue of a horse here in Milan. This is a big racetrack, I do believe, and sadly all these gates seem to be shut. I'd like to go up and see it in a little bit more detail. However, got a little bit of information here for you. The San Siro district has always been at the heart of sporting activities in Milan. Since 1926 it has been home to the football stadium, and between 76 and 85 it featured a sports complex of the same name, which was subsequently demolished. But from 1888, the year that Celtic were formed, the zone had a racecourse built by the engineer Giulio Valerio, to which races previously held, they were previously held elsewhere. The present structure was constructed in the 1920s, but this horse, so Leonardo da Vinci wanted to build the biggest equine statue the world had ever seen, but he only came up with like a clay design and could never do it in bronze. I think engineering wise it was really hard to do it, to have it standing on 2 feet or something like that. One of the taxi drivers that I've had in Milan was actually telling me about it, but he never got to see his statue actually get designed. He did some designs for it. It only got made out of clay, but eventually this was built centuries later and now it's here. I bet he'd be buzzing to see it, wouldn't he? But that is just opposite the San Siro, which is right over there. Look at it, what a stadium. I was here last night. I watched Inter Milan versus Empoli last night here, and it's some stadium with some atmosphere, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it today. It's a little bit quieter, stadium tour. Let's go and buy our tickets. One of the main reasons I wanted to come was to finally go to the San Siro, but I had heard that it was actually going to get knocked down. I've had a few comments on my Inter video from locals who have telling me that the red tape around building a new stadium in Italy makes it almost impossible to build a new stadium in Italy, basically. They, a few comments I've had about the Stadio Olimpico in Rome and Roma's new stadium. It is weird that Rome are playing that old stadium, and I think Napoli as well. There's some huge teams in Italy who play in quite dated stadiums, I think. They were all sort of upgraded in the 90s or late 80s for Italia 90, the World Cup that they had here, and I don't think they've really advanced them much since. Juventus and Atalanta have new stadiums, but I think a lot of the Italian stadiums are actually council owned, so it's not like the clubs actually own them or anything like that, and I believe it's the case here, and which is why it makes it so hard for them to rebuild it. Again, I came here for the game yesterday and it is a little bit rough around the edges in some places. The toilets, it's very steep. Some of the old seats and stairs and stuff look like they could do with a little bit of updating. Still an amazing stadium, and it holds 75 to 80,000 people, but yeah, I do think that it might be here for a little bit longer than what I originally thought it might be. I've never been to a club shop before that is split between two different teams. Absolutely amazing to see like an AC half and an Inter half. Look how big this is. It's so imposing, this place. And it's kind of grey on the outside. I don't often like grey stadiums, but it's so iconic. Like the like red bits that jut out, and the roof when you're inside looks unbelievable. It probably makes for a better atmosphere, you know, like acoustics wise. But we have just been to gate 14 where the shop is, gate 13, we're about to see gate 12. Gate 8 is where we need to collect our ticket and buy our ticket. Buongiorno. Can I have one ticket for the tour and museum, please?
You visit first the museum, then you do the stadium tour with the guy.
Perfect, cool. Thank you very much. Okay, first up is the museum. 30 euros, one of the most expensive ones, especially in Europe. I think the ones in London are usually about 30 quid. This would be what, 27, 26 in pounds. But this is a big old iconic stadium. Look at this. Let's get in the museum first and then the tour. Here we are inside the museum, as you can see, and are these all shirts of players that are teams that have played here before, or maybe the players that have played here before? Look at some of these old Italian shirts. Wow, look at these. Imagine in the Italian heat playing in that like woolen shirt. We have Cannavaro, we got Stevie G. Here's one for all the Rangers fans out there, look at that. That'd be worth a lot on classic football shirts, that one. And how about this, Stoichkov signed as well, and that Fiorentina one, wow. Was recently in Hamburg, there you go. That is Keegan's shirt. We've got this classic Liverpool shirt as well. Also the main man Messi, David Beckham. We've got a PSG shirt belonging to AC legend Zlatan. Oliver Kahn's shirt. Here we have a Maradona shirt apparently. And Manuel Neuer. But let's move round to the trophies before the tour starts. Wow, look at that old China shirt. Look at that. That's mad. And then we got an England shirt next to it, an old German shirt. Look at that Cameroon shirt, Wales, Crespo, as well as like a few others, and then a signed Pele shirt. But here we are, look, round two, the Club World Cup here. I think both sides have won this, haven't they? Inter and AC, I'm pretty sure. The Super Cup, here we have the Champions League. These do look like replicas, to be fair. I know that both clubs have a HQ sort of base elsewhere in the city where maybe they keep their cups. This is the old European Cup. That is the one that was prior to it looking like this. Look at that, it's an old classic. Here we have the Europa League, it's formerly known as the UEFA Cup, of course. The Serie A League trophy. Absolutely beautiful trophy, that one. And then the Coppa Italia. Look at those two, the two domestic main trophies there. And the Super Coppa Italia, the Super Cup, which is essentially the Community Shield of Italy.
The international cups and championships won by both Inter and Milan. They're all mixed together in chronological order, 27 in total. Now, I don't know if you knew this, but Milan has a record. It's the only city in Europe where both teams of the same city have won so many international cups and championships, okay? No other city in Europe, not even London, for example, that has many clubs, only Chelsea. Three dressing rooms. First is Milan, second Inter. The away team has a separate dressing room. It's that door, the grey door you see at the end of the corridor, but we won't go see it because it's neutral, playing, you know, they decorate it however they want. It has to be simple. Now you must know that the stadium is public. So what happens, the two teams pay rent to the municipality of Milan to come and use the stadium. So they only come on match days and they stay 2-3 hours, what's enough to play the game. So when they play like Sunday, Inter play, there were no tours. Today, days like today, they're not here, we can have tours. They have their own private training centers outside. So Milanello for Milan, which is near Malpensa Airport. Right on the other side, on Lake Como, a Piano Gentile is the location for Inter. So they have all the facilities there. I think they have restaurants, or they can sleep there, etc. So they only come here on match day. That's why the dressing rooms are quite simple. They're quite different philosophy. In Milan, you see a single seat. Inter, they sit in a circle like a bench, more classic, traditional dressing room.
in the tunnel now, and so because Inter played last night, everything's blue and all the Inter graphics are up, but they change it very, very regularly when AC Milan have to play, or the management team have to change this all to make it AC branded instead of Inter.
About 78,000 spectators in total. 80,000 maybe not. Anyway, north is Inter, and that's the players' bench, so the dugout. South end Milan, players' bench, dugouts here. This is the referee bench.
Why are there different coloured seats? Orange, blue, green,
The
red?
seats were put in during the World Cup. They just ran, there was an average of the flags of the countries, like the nations taking part in the tournament.
Okay.
No significance, just random. Maybe the cheapest one, I don't know. Yeah, because usually stadiums only have 1 or 2 colours.
Yep.
Yeah, no, here was just the World Cup.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's it.
I understand why people say this needs improving, this stadium. I mean, it is great, it's iconic, it's amazing. The atmosphere was fantastic yesterday, but look at some of these seats. Faded, and the colours are here, still from the World Cup in 1990. You'd think they'd have made them sort of more Inter and AC branded. Sounds like Inter are always that side, AC are always that side. Why don't they make this red and black and that blue and black? It'd be amazing if it was like that. Look at some of these old seats, look, faded for years, been here since 1990. I will also overlay a clip of the toilets from the museum, and I didn't get a clip of the toilets yesterday at the game because it was obviously a little bit full and I didn't want to start filming in a toilet, but it's just a hole in the ground. I'll see if I can maybe find a picture online. I'm not sure if I'll be able to, but yeah, I can see why people say that this does need a bit of love, a bit of TLC, and maybe a complete knockdown and rebuild.
What about the Italian national team? You visit this part in autonomy, like the museum when we started. You don't have to wait for me this time. On this side, all the victories of Italy, so 4 World Cups and 2 Euros. On the other side, all the original jerseys from 1910 onwards until the end of the corridor.
Really cool at the end to see there the Italian stuff. I'll overlay some things on screen right now. Obviously Italy have won 4 World Cups, a number of other competitions as well, but it's the 4 World Cups, I guess, as a nation they are most proud of. 2 in the 30s, Spain in 82, and then 2006, wasn't it, in Germany, and so many things in there, old shirts, old medals, old things to do with the old fascist times of when Mussolini was the leader, and all the old shirts and relics and stuff of Italy's sort of history. Italy do play some games here occasionally, but obviously it is mainly the home of Milan and Inter. I don't think you should say AC. I think it's just like you say Milan for AC Milan and Inter for Inter Milan, but just going around the stadium towards the end of the tour, like, it is a brilliant stadium, don't get me wrong. The fans are cool, the history of the clubs are amazing, the tour guide was fantastic as well. She was so nice and so knowledgeable. However, it does seem like the clubs are hamstrung by the council in that they can't really do anything to actually improve the stadium. They can't paint the seats that are faded, they can't do any work, they can't put like even electronic boards in without having to ask the council first. There's so many things that need done to change it up. I may have mentioned already, like the toilets in there were awful last night up in the gods where I was sitting. Apparently I was chatting to some people on the tour who were sat in a different part of the ground for yesterday's game. The toilets were a bit better, but I mean the toilets aren't great in there. There's like parts of it that are like, you know, crumbling away in certain areas. So I can see why people say that it needs redeveloping and they need a new stadium, because 2 teams the size of AC and Inter, I mean, it is a shame to see the stadium needs so much work. But again, what can they do? It's not them that own it. They have to ask the council who own the stadium to do anything to it. So a lot of red tape, and yeah, I feel for the clubs in that they can't really do much to improve the state of the ground. I'm now back in the UK after a great trip to Milan. I absolutely loved it. The San Siro was fantastic. The game I went to see Inter Milan play and to see Monza play as well, absolutely brilliant. And I also really enjoyed this stadium tour. I think the tour guide was excellent. She was really good and had lots of good facts, as you would have seen throughout the video. Yeah, I did go to Milan purely to see the San Siro, really, and from a match day perspective it's amazing, but as you would have seen throughout the whole video, like, there are parts of it that really
really need improvement. This is one of the biggest stadiums in Europe, the biggest in Italy, and home to two of the biggest and most well-known clubs in the world. And as you'll see from some of the clips on screen right now, the toilets aren't good. There's bits of it that could do with a lot of touching up, and TLC, as I've already mentioned. So yeah, great experience, really good stadium. I would recommend you go there for a game, but yeah, don't go there expecting a brand new Tottenham Hotspur style stadium, because it isn't that. And it's no fault of the clubs, it's no fault of the people working there on the tour or anything like that. It is apparently down to the municipality of Milan to get actual things passed through. I'm sure that AC Milan and Inter Milan both would love to change things within the stadium. For example, the seats have been those weird colours since the very start of the 1990 World Cup, over 30 years ago now. Absolutely crazy stuff. But yeah, I would recommend you go out there. It is a great experience and an amazing city anyway, in and around the San Siro itself. Thank you so much for watching. I'll leave my stadium tour playlist on screen right now. I've done stadium tours in the Netherlands, Portugal, Germany, Italy now, England, Scotland, as well as many more. So yeah, do check them out if you want to have a bit of a binge watch. Thank you very much, and goodbye.